This is my latest fold-up toy, Alien Abduction. It's a pretty simple one-page paper craft consisting of two pieces and a neat little paper engineering gimmick that uses inverted folds to lock a face in place. And it was an absolute train wreck of a design process. In this video, I'll go over the development process, showing what went wrong, detailing the changes between each prototype, and explaining why I was so unhappy with the final result that I went back to the toy after it was released and completely overhauled the template. My name's Alex, I'm a paper engineer with over a decade of experience designing paper toys and paper crafts. I run the Fold Up Club, which is a monthly Patreon subscription for which I design and release a new toy on every single 5th of the month. It's one of the projects I'm most proud of, and having a constantly looming deadline has forced me to grow as a designer and release toys on a regular basis. But the downside of that looming deadline is it's the deadline part, isn't it? Sometimes life gets in the way. You're getting used to a new setup, a record heat wave strikes, you get a puppy and you don't sleep for 3 weeks. Sometimes all three of those things happen at the same time, and that deadline gets closer and closer until it's the 4th of the month and you haven't got a toy for the toy club and the panic sets in. That's what happened this month. So I decided to dive straight into the template design without doing any sketchwork in advance. I had a rough idea that I wanted the paper toy to be an astronaut and that I wanted to use inverted folds to make the sides of their helmet, and that was about it. Pretty quickly I'd finished the initial design and built the first prototype, leaving me with a blank little space person. I wasn't really sure what the bulge on the front was going to be. I thought it could maybe be a control panel or a camera, but after adding some rough sketches with a Sharpie, it became a tiny little space alien being held by their head. From there, I started adding some textures. This is the first toy I've designed exclusively using my laptop, so it was a little weird at first, but by cranking up the smoothness on the pen lines, I got the hang of it. I wanted to have a quite limited colour palette, so I tried to keep things in the white, greys and blues for the spacesuit to make the face and alien stand out and really pop out from the background. One of the things I really don't like about this setup is how reflective the laptop screen is. I might as well have a mirror setup pointing at my face at the least flattering angle imaginable. You can see right up my nose. With that, it was time to print and build the template, and here's what I ended up with. I liked a lot of what I had, but I wanted to make some significant changes, so I built a new version of the template. I felt like the expression on the face of the astronaut wasn't interacting with the alien in their hands. They almost felt like two completely unrelated elements, so I made their eyes larger to make it clear that the astronaut is looking at the alien, and made the reflection of the alien at the bottom of the helmet more prominent. I added a little antenna to the top of the alien's head, which carries onto the chest of the astronaut to tie the two pieces in a little more. The rest of the changes related to the paper engineering gimmick of this toy. The sides of the astronaut's head are made using inverted folds, which are basically when you take a standard fold and push it inwards by reversing the direction. This can be a great way of adding complexity to a shape without adding lots of tabs or complicating the template. These two inverted folds leave these gaps at the front of the backpack. Then, part of the template folds inside of the toy, slotting into these gaps and locking it in place using a single tab. That's the gimmick. It sounds pretty complicated, but once you see it in action, it's pretty sweet and simple, as long as you don't overcomplicate it. So, anyway, I was looking at prototype 2, and I noticed where this locking section folds inside, it leaves this little ledge. The legs were designed to fit around this ledge and the bottom of the backpack, but I thought, what if I used the same paper engineering gimmick as before and added an inverted fold and then extended the legs upwards so that they would lock into position? So, I made yet another version of the template. Bear in mind, I'm now working on this the day it needs to be released. This was a project I was expecting to get away with making a single prototype for, but no! I wanted to be clever and lock the legs in place using a fancy schmancy fold. Foolish. You foolish boy. So here's the building process as it stands at this point. You make some holes using the inverted folds on the sides of the head, then the front of the backpack folds inside of the template, slotting into those gaps and locking in place to cover up the holes. In turn, lining up tab 1 with the slot it needs to go into on the back. Tabs 2 and 3 glue the backpack together, leaving this newly added inverted fold concealed inside it. Tabs 4 through 9 make the legs and upper body, and then tabs 10 and 11 fold down to make the bottom of the backpack. further concealing the inverted fold. Wow, that's really hidden in there for literally no good reason. Wow, cool. Then, finally, at this point, there's the big payoff. The top of the legs push inwards into the hidden inverted fold, locking them into place. You know, it's just a little bit awkward, like, not only do you have to push the tops of the legs into a tiny little area that's really hard to access, but you also have to line it up with the internal tab that then has to go inside of the legs, all in a single motion. But it's fine, you can just fish around a little bit with a craft knife to pull tabs 12 and 13 through and glue them into place. Then you just glue together the little alien, slot it into place, and you're done. And you end up with a fine little paper toy. It's fine. Everything is fine. And it has to be fine because I'm out of time. The deadline is here. I worked up until the very last second. So I released this as August's fold-up club design and went to bed. Oh, it's fine. Then, at 3 AM, I awoke. This template is suboptimal. It's not fine. This is not fine, and I'm not fine with it. I'd overcomplicated things, and I wanted to fix it, so I set to work completely overhauling the template. I switched the legs from a triangular prism to a triangular pyramid, making them overall more stable. I completely removed the internal inverted fold gimmick that previously locked the legs into place, instead making the front face of the backpack come in from the top rather than the bottom, meaning there was less surface area hidden away on the inside of the toy where no one could see it, so that the final product could be larger. I removed the flagpole completely, got rid of the weird little alien dog. Did I even mention the weird little alien dog that was on the original template? It doesn't matter, he's dead now. I kept the original paper engineering gimmick in place of these little fold-over tabs that they, wait, what? Oh no, I completely messed up the placement of these new tabs. So I made a 5th version of the template which fixed this new issue, and then I re-released the updated template to the Fold Up Club members. Wow, what a messy adventure! That was the development behind my Alien Abduction paper toy. It was not a pleasant process, but I hope that someone out there found me explaining the issues I had and how and why I resolved them to be helpful. Overall, this toy has served as a perfect example of how rushing never really saves any time in the long run. If I had just planned better, not left things until the last minute, and thought things through a little better, I could have avoided most of the issues I encountered along the way. With all that out of the way, let's go over the build process of the final and improved Alien Abduction paper toy. The final template is a 1-page, 2-piece paper craft, with one piece being the astronaut and the other being the small alien that slots into the astronaut's body. The sides of the head are made using inverted folds which simultaneously make the top of the backpack, sides of the helmet, top of the shoulders, and leave 2 large gaps. Then we fold the top of the backpack inside of the toy, which slots the front of the backpack into those 2 gaps we made earlier and glues into position using tab 1. Tab 2 folds down and glues to the side of the backpack. Tabs 3 and 4 fold around and glue to the front of the foot to create the legs. Tabs 5 and 6 glue down to the front of the body, creating the shoulders. Then tabs 7 and 8 glue to the sides of the body, finishing the upper body section. The legs glue into position using tabs 9 and 10, attaching to the bottom side of the backpack, completing the astronaut. Next, we build the little alien by gluing down tabs 11 and 12 to the sides of the alien, and then folding around tab 13 to glue it to the opposite side of the body. Finally, we connect the 2 parts together by pushing the extended flaps on the top and bottom of the alien into the slots on the astronaut's body. With that, the Alien Abduction paper toy is complete. The end result is a cute little paper toy with some nice character and an engaging build process. Was it worth all the pain and suffering that went into getting to this point? No, absolutely not. Not even a little bit. I hope, if nothing else, it makes for an interesting development log. If you have any questions, comments, or queries, let me know and I'll do my best to answer them when I see them. I've been uploading videos of paper toys and things like that to TikTok, so if that's a platform you use, you can follow me on there at FoldUpToys. It would be nice to see you over there. Have a nice day, keep folding, and remember, if at first you don't succeed, try again.